Gear Spaceship Music Collective. This is Six Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I'm your host, Dom Maple.
That's sick.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Six Set Bro, music and something podcast. Music and entertainment, is it? Okay. Music and entertainment podcast. You know who it is. It's Dom Maple. I'm your host. I'm your host every week, so you should know it by now. I'm joined, like I'm always joined, by the Enigma gamer girl that is Nandez.ttv. He took away the .ttv.
I did. I don't know why.
I
just did.
Nandez, Twitch streamer, entrepreneur, crypto investor, Dogecoin expert. And, he's here every week. He's my brother. He's my pal. And it's the hungry ghost, the one and only Money Mike, everybody. Oh, yeah. I got to get that cash register in there. Got a jam-packed show. Got a lot to get through here. We got, as the title suggests, Demi Lovato looking for UFOs. I'll talk about that briefly. There's not much to say there, though. Demi Lovato looking for UFOs. You got Joe Budden controversy. You got I can't even remember what else I put in the title of this, but there's stuff. There's stuff for you to stick around for. There's things that we can talk about. But yeah, I suppose we can start because Andy and I have not had a chance to speak about this. But there's some Joe Budden controversy. If nobody knows, he was at one time a rapper. Many moons ago, he was a rapper, and then he became arguably more famous for his podcast. I know Andy's a big fan. There was some shit that went down, man. All right, you gotta hydrate. Before I get into this. Whew. So there was an episode that went up of the Joe Budden podcast with his two co-hosts that he would host it with. He had a lot to say about those guys. An episode went up and then it got taken down very quickly, and pretty much what we're seeing unfold after Joe Budden ranting for like a 2-hour episode and kind of trying to put the blame on these guys, it kind of seems like essentially he was screwing these guys out of money. That's what it looks like at the minute. He has a deal with the likes of Spotify for his podcast. They have the YouTube revenue. They have all these channels to go through, and these guys never knew how much money they were even earning by doing this show with them. And I think they just kind of kept going along with it, like it was fine by the signs of things, because they're friends. That would be like me doing it to you guys or something. But they were kind of just like, Joe wouldn't screw us or whatever. And then it seems like Rory in particular, who is one of the other guys on the show, he was the one that he wanted to be named as an owner of the podcast. And then Joe was like, no, don't want that to happen. And then after that, it was like, okay, well, can I get paid the YouTube revenue? Nope, he doesn't get anything from the YouTube streams, so he doesn't earn from that. So he's just kind of getting mystery money that comes from Joe Budden, and he doesn't know how much he's getting paid for the whole thing. He has the details of the Spotify deal, absolutely nothing. And it got to the point where the only way he was going to figure out how much he was meant to earn was by getting the IRS to do an audit on the Joe Budden podcast. So he tried to get him audited, I think, and obviously Joe wasn't too happy about it, but it seems like he's the one that screwed these guys over, in my opinion. And we all know that I hate Joes. So, that's, this is why you can never trust a Joe, everyone. There's no trustworthy Joes out there. So it's kind of just like a warning for everyone. I've been saying it for many years. Never trusted Joe. Here's evidence. Exhibit A. Exhibit A. I assume, Addy, have you heard this podcast yet? The podcast was up and down, and now there's it's on the dark web. You can find it.
I just went to their Reddit page.
Yeah. There's somebody who did a 5-paragraph summary of what happens on the deleted episode, but you can hear the whole thing.
Yeah,
I listened to some of it.
I listened to the whole. It's like an hour. The first hour and 20 minutes, I'd say. They talk about it, and after listening to it all, and obviously listening to the podcast for years and following them on social media, Rory and Mole, Joe, I'm split between the three.
Yeah.
I understand where Joe was coming from, because essentially from a business point of view, it's his name on the thing, and he started it before they got there.
True.
He started it originally with Paul Rosenberg years ago, because he asked us, what is a podcast? And he just started it with Paul and I can't remember the lady's name. I think it was Melissa, something like that. Anyway, and then she left. Rory came in. I think 2014. I think that's when that All Love Lost album came out. And it was established already. The Joe Budden podcast was his entity, his thing. He kind of grew it up from the internet. He was the internet annoying YouTuber type thing before that was annoying. So he was kind of at the birth of the infancy of this type of media that you're seeing everybody do now.
Yeah.
But I think because it was him, and he says it himself, he knows he's a meme, but he doesn't care. He says that himself. He says that himself. Yeah. And where he's a
little bit like the Stephen A. Smith of hip hop, just in there shouting and complaining all the time.
But when you listen to him twice a week because then they had the Spotify deal, all that stuff. When you listen to him and them as a dynamic, it was probably one of the best. I'd prefer to listen to that than Rogan or sometimes even Fighting the Kid or something.
Yeah.
Because their dynamic and the way they speak, talk, their knowledge about music behind the scenes and all that stuff. Their opinions, Joe's opinion's a bit out there, but I think Joe has an opinion that more than likely is going to be correct in the long run. Unfortunately, when he starts talking about stuff, he might bring stuff up too early. Yeah. And his deliveries never really... It's always blah, blah, blah. So he's ranting about something.
Yeah. He's got those Kanye vibes.
Yeah. So, but when he was saying, because I listened to the thing an hour in, and I was like, okay, I kind of get where he's coming from, because he doesn't have a contract with Ian Swartzen, with his manager that he works with now. He doesn't have a contract with Parks, who does his music from his last 2 albums, and he worked with Slaughterhouse and stuff. He doesn't have a contract with them. And they apparently, from what I heard today, were getting paid well. The top 1% of what one of the guys called A-list or A-Mic podcasters. So the likes of Rogan and all that stuff are in that bracket. And they were co-hosts.
Yeah.
And it's
I would believe that they were getting paid well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's probably an amazing salary. I think it was more the question of why, whenever you ask to see the details of what the deal is, it'd be like, well, how much are we earning? And it's like, not telling you that. I can't tell you that. And it's like, well, whoa. Right, okay. How much am I getting screwed over here? It just didn't seem clear.
Yeah, I get that. And again, his delivery on that wasn't
it wasn't
the
great.
best. But also, again, going back to, it's got one from a business point. It's got his name. It was started before. They were friends before, but the podcast itself was started before them. the YouTube money and all that stuff, he said on the podcast that he doesn't even touch the YouTube money, and then his manager confirmed that. The Spotify deal he didn't really like anyway, because he has been strongly for independent artists for God knows how many years. He's always tried to push the independent thing.
Yeah, he's not a fan of the Spotify pay.
I also think that he just likes taking things slow. And when he was talking about what they brought to the podcast themselves, he was saying that he was encouraging them to do something. As in, you want... these are my numbers with my fans that I bring in. Podcast started a while ago. What are you going to bring to this medium, this form of media? So he was asking, like, Rory to, I don't know, do something like a YouTube channel, like a review. I don't know.
Yeah,
he does
like
playlists. He asked
diversify
Maul,
and bring more fans to the thing.
Yeah, he asked he asked Maul to do like, because he's into sports. It's like, do a sports segment, do a fashion segment, do something just to try and get this as a network, because he has 3 podcasts.
Yeah,
he has.
Well, I mean, that's what a lot of things do now. Is like, I mean, you look at a channel like the Ringer or something. It's weird for either the Ringer or the Bleacher Report. I started following those podcasts for sports, and it started out with like 1 or 2 sports, and now it's like every sports, and then it's every sport there is. It's like there's one. It's like, are you into superheroes? You've got it. And I was like, what? I thought this was a sport network, and there's one all about the MCU somewhere. And I'm like, okay.
So he's got like this one, the Joe Budden podcast. He has see, the thing is with 3 ladies, can't remember her names because I don't really watch it, but I just know it's there. And I think it's called, I'm blanking, but anyway, so he's got major podcasts. Now, if one of your friends comes in and goes, I want to audit you, surely it's like, come on.
It seems cold from that side, but then like you said to me earlier in a message, it's like, you're gonna have to see how it plays out, because at the minute it's like, it's a podcast that was put up and taken down, and it's kind of like, I don't really know both sides fully. You know what's being roughly said, but it's like, you know, was that a last option there? Because it kind of sounds like it was.
Well, at the end
I
of
don't
it,
know.
At the end of the whole thing, after they ran, because then they moved on to J. Cole. Like, they literally just
let's
went,
actually talk about music.
J. Cole. They're still going to be friends. That's the thing. They see all this from a business point of view, because the last 2 podcasts that Rory and Maul were on, the first one, when they came back after their first hiatus for a week, they were gone for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And he had his actual friends, Ice and Ish, replacing them. And he just kept it going. Like, it's like, this podcast again isn't going to stop because 2 people have fallen out. Yeah. So he just went like this, because that's all he does. That's his thing.
Yeah. Podcasting
is his thing. Where Rory has Emotional Oranges, the group. I think he's the manager or whatever for them. He used to do an event in the States called Duce Palooza. It's like this big indoor party. It's like Jay-Z done like the, you know, Duce the drink. I don't know. It's like a Hennessy side gig.
Yeah. I don't know. That sounds kind of familiar.
But he done that. And but anyway, so he was just like, right, this isn't stopping because you 2 just want to see like the books, and he'll literally carry on until, you know, he had a plan for, because he's just done a Patreon, and he's come like a part owner, like a high, not a part owner of Patreon, but like investor or something. So I think his plans take too long. Essentially,
that's gonna be the problem.
But yeah, just wrapping round to this, it's like, it'll be like us doing,
when we're successful.
It'll be like us doing this, and then we've been talking about a game channel, and then we've been talking about other means and stuff, And then, yeah, I don't know. It would just be... It's just awkward when you do things and business starts going too heavily into friendship.
Yeah.
But it's dealing with that
Yeah.
can basically just like...
Like, can you imagine if we started being successful in this podcast and getting paid well, and then I was like, I wouldn't tell you guys how much I was making. I was like, look, just take this and don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. You're fine.
But and then Joe's point is, see if... Obviously, we're all trying to bring something to this. So the point that Joe was making was, if me and Mike just stay here and do nothing, and this grows, but there's no side venture, and then we ask for how much can we get?
Yeah.
It's like...
It would.
It's a weird one though, because
you
I know you said, like, this is me not knowing very much about the Joe Budden podcast, but just like coming at it from a completely fresh perspective. You're saying that the podcast was established before these guys came along, but it's really hard to measure their contribution. As you say, you like the dynamic that he has with these guys, and yes, he could very quickly get somebody else in to talk with him again, but it's so hard to, even with YouTube statistics and numbers, it's really hard to measure how much of an impact they've had on growing the audience, because people may have came to that podcast late and they may have stayed because of the new guys, not because of anything that was there before. They might have, like you said, I really like this dynamic between these guys talking and stuff. How can anybody measure that? You know, that's difficult.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's as much as we know at the minute. And we'll see how that one plays out. We'll be unfortunate because it sounds like it's really hard to tell, because he might keep going with that podcast or not, but he was kind of like on the edge of like, oh, that whole thing's over now, and it's like I can't see it being over. Maybe he changes. He might move to something else. I don't know, but for the podcast, which is probably the worst thing.
I think it was more on because he's really, if you listen to him for as many hours as I do, but it was all about principle. It's like you can't be sending the IRS or the tax man or whatever to audit your friend.
Yeah, that's pretty
you know
shitty.
what I mean? It's like,
it's
come
a pretty
on.
shitty thing to do.
I'm sure for you, like as a listener, it's kind of just like watching like your one of your favorite bands break up or something. It's like,
It
"Guys,
is,
Can you not just get over this so I can keep having more content?"
But that's why, because again, because I've seen him on when he used to do that show Complex on Complex.
What was that
Everyday
called?
Struggle.
Yeah,
Everyday
I know the
Struggle.
one.
I watch that every Friday. That's pretty much almost turned daily, 3 times a week. So it's like hip hop news and stuff. It was on YouTube. That was his creation, and he brought it to Complex. And then they started doing shady deals behind. They tried to get like Nike advertising and all that stuff when he wasn't there, and they went, "No, we're only here because of this name." So he knows what he has, and that's why he just keeps pushing forward as a creator. So,
Yeah. That's
one
fair.
hand, I can't blame him, but when I was listening to him, I was like, "Oh, you're such a
Yeah.
you're
It is.
you're so business, and you want to be P Diddy so much that you need to calm down."
He's just sometimes he's just a little too arrogant for me. Don't
But
trust
what-
a Joe. Don't trust a Joe, everyone. That's what we got. Don't name your son Joe. Don't name your daughter Joe.
The only Joe you can
Adam.
trust is Pasquale.
And even then,
There
what
is
shady
a-
dealings is he up to?
Somebody dropped a bombshell in the comments though. Stu, there is a Joe that you do like. You've been lying to us.
True, I do like a cup of Joe. You're correct. A cup of Joseph in the morning.
Joseph.
There was Joseph from the Bible. He also, I don't know, don't trust him. Think he's up to no good. He's a little egotistical. Yeah, well, that's all we know on that story for now anyway. So moving on. I'll share a funny thing before I get into stuff that I want to talk to you guys about and see what your take is. But if you are watching on YouTube, join us in a share screen. If you're listening audio, I'm gonna describe it all to you. All right. Here we go.
Vivid word picture.
I'm gonna have to. Here we go. Okay. So Demi Lovato spots something mysterious in the sky. They're coming. Demi Lovato is gonna do an unscripted UFO show. So that'll be something that happens. Wow, she says as the camera follows unidentified lights in the sky. What the fuck? They're coming. It sounds like it'll be good. Yeah, it sounds like a good one, maybe. Good show, definitely. Oh dear Lord!
Is this appearing on Tom DeLonge's to the
I was gonna
Stars
say
network or something?
Tom can
They
get
should
away
do
with
like
that.
a
I mean, he
team
did the
up.
same thing. He did the exact same thing with his unidentified show. I have nothing to say about this other than it's funny, right? It's not really what I want to show you. What I want to show you is some shit that went down. So we all know, was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know. Time is moving so fast now. When did everything open? The 30th of April or something? I don't know. We've been open for what, 2 weeks or something? Well, kind of open.
I still haven't left my house, so I don't really know.
Well, neither have I. Outdoor pubs opened again, and like you can sit out in the beer gardens or whatever. Yeah. So after like 1 week of this already, we have a horrifying video of somebody in Belfast being beaten in the street by the doorman. And it just raises this thing again. I'm actually glad people are videoing this because I think most of us know in this country how bad the doormen are. I'm not saying everybody. You can't really use a whole blanket thing. But it's a constant thing of just like, I don't know, some sort of megalomaniacs, like, you know, abusing their power. I have had trouble with bouncers in bars where I'm meant to be the entertainment. I'm coming there to play a show that I've been asked to play, and then they give me trouble. Like, I had a guy telling me I couldn't wear a hat before, and he was like, you're gonna have to take that hat off, and I was like, look, I'm here to perform, man, so I don't, like, I'm not gonna take my hat off. It was a whole thing, and I was like, you gotta let it go, man. You gotta let it go. But I'll let you guys see the clip here. It's pretty horrifying. So yeah, it's outside the point. So this guy's clearly drunk, and then he pushes him, and whenever they go out into the street, this is the part that gets worse, because maybe he was antagonizing him a little bit. He's probably drunk, but he pushes him into the street, into the road, and then, like, you got the other guys there. They're not doing anything to help. They're not trying to settle it down, and then they end up fighting each other. Once he gets pushed down on the ground, finally, it should be over. But instead, this guy feels the need to smack him in the face while he's on the ground in the middle of the road. And it's not until one person finally comes over to say, stop, you can't do that. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's just this thing of like, not only is it bad enough that this has happened already, but it's like we have been open for like a week. You know what I mean? A week. And we got this going down. Like, I don't know, man. I am fed up with this altogether because I've had it for trouble of places I've played. I have friends that just go to places and there's constant trouble, constant doormen and bouncers. Like, it's just crazy because I know it's not, like, it's against the law. That was assault, what happened there. That was full on assault. And I think what I found quite disappointing was, even though people actually filmed this thing and they shared it on Twitter and people were disgusted by it, a lot of it was just kind of complaining in the comments. You know what I mean? And it was like, I try to comment on it and be like, you know, you could do something about this. Like, I mean, you know, the bar it happened at the points, and you could email, like, the bar has to be hiring this guy through an agency or whatever the hell it's going to be. You can always give feedback, you know, you can always complain and say, this is what happened, send the video, tag them in the thing, and try and say, look what happened outside your bar. This is the agency that you pay to come and do doorman at your bar. you need to do something about this. You need to feed it back to the company, or if it's your personal doorman, then you need to fire that guy. Like, I don't know. It really just it started a fire inside me. It's like, okay, well, let's not just complain. You want to just actually like send emails or something to them or do something about it. Because I feel like everyone just lets this stuff go, especially in bars in Belfast. That's freaking. Wouldn't want to do doorman, but you really shouldn't be laying hands on anyone unless they're gonna assault you first, which clearly wasn't gonna happen there. The guy was talking to him, and yeah, maybe he was being drunk and frustrating, but no need to push some man into traffic and then beat him while he's on the ground. Agreed? Agreed, everyone?
Oh, no comment, I guess.
No comment.
What if he was just, I don't know. I mean, you can't say that.
I don't think you can defend that, though, can you?
Well, we don't know what the other side was doing, right?
I know, but there's a video of a guy speaking to another guy. So as long as he wasn't trying to hit him, I don't think there's an excuse. Because that's a job. It's a job at the end of the day.
I know.
So, like, should never really result in assault unless somebody's trying to hit you first.
Usually what I find with video clips is that something has happened for 10 to 15, half an hour before the camera goes on.
Maybe.
And nobody sees that.
Maybe it has. Still don't think you can do it.
I think it's just it's a tough job either way.
I don't think you can
be
do it.
any sort of enforcement thing. It's like as soon as somebody approaches you, you're on edge. You're on edge most of the time anyway. And it's like as soon as you get approached, you're like, what the hell do you do?
It's one of those jobs. It's like America. The problem with the police as well. It's like just like any job that has
training,
power, it can attract the wrong people. You know what I mean? And
What's crazy, it's too easy to get into the police department in America.
Yeah.
In general, it seems like an easy choice for a lot of people.
With those kind of jobs, there just needs to be more scrutiny about like the reasoning behind why somebody wants to get into one of those jobs. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I think it's
sometimes there is people with power complexes and stuff. It
it's
is hard.
training
Like
as well.
I agree with you, Andy. I can't pass comment. You don't know what happened before the video. You don't really. It does seem like an overreaction. As I say, he's like swung fists, and that guy looked in no fit state to actually do any damage to anybody. But like, you can't pass comment because you weren't really there.
But also,
I have had my fair share of problems with bouncers as well, and that's all I can really say about it, is that like any job like that, it can attract the wrong people.
but I get what you're saying. Also, the hit on the face, yeah, that was unnecessary. Like restraining, fine, but like hitting somebody,
yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
not.
Well, I mean,
that's-
this is the conversation that's happened.
and
several
that's
times.
that's on the it's on the training, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
on.
There's
it's on,
certain people that have the attitude that they're hyped and they're waiting for it to happen. They almost want it to happen and have a reason to throw fists. And then there's other people that are like that is a last resort. That is maybe what my job involves, but in the worst case scenario sort of thing. And that it's those kind of responsible people that you want doing that kind of job, and you really have to. There's no easy way to eke out the people that are just like sort of sitting there amped up, wanting an excuse to get in a fight with somebody. You know what I mean?
Other than people taking charge and seeing something completely unjustified like that and then reporting the person or contacting the bar. That's kind of what
Again,
I'm
we
saying.
don't know if that hasn't happened.
Maybe.
We also
but it
don't
just
know if
seemed
the bar
like
hasn't
mainly
taken action.
complaints. Could be as well. Haven't seen anything, haven't heard anything.
Twitter is not the place to sort something like that out.
Twitter is the world, my friend. Twitter is the world. That's where everything goes down.
Twitter is where Doge goes up and goes down.
And goes down hard. Fucking hard, dude. Doge goes down hard. I know, just pissed me off. Thought I'd share it with everyone. Bit ridiculous in my opinion. And I hate that anyone's like even says something like you would need to use that force. It's like, you can't use that force though. Like, you just legally can't use that force. You can't do that. You just can't. I know that you can't. Okay? From experience, you can't just lay hands at. You can self-defense. You can do that. Someone comes at you, you can come at them. And I know that from police telling me that in the past, from experiences I've had. I know that that's the case. And yeah, it is a dangerous job, and it's a difficult job to be in any sort of enforcement. But because I've been in the position several times myself, it's like you have to just be smart and stand back. And it's more about protecting other people and protecting the person who may be completely off their face as well. Not throwing them into the middle of a busy road where dude could have got hit by a car and died. Like, you know, just not acceptable. And that's what frustrated me. That's my stance. Anyways, and it's just a beautiful thing. Back, everything open again. It's like, oh yeah, this is why I don't go out.
Well,
This is
that's
why I don't
that's
go
the
out
thing.
anywhere.
And that's the thing. It's like everything is just and people are just rushing out. People are still probably uncomfortable. That bouncer probably doesn't want to work, but he has to. You know, that guy is probably just. So like, yeah, we're going out, and what time was that of the day? Lunchtime?
Oh, I have no idea. Doesn't matter. There's too much defense. He's probably called Joe. All right, so we'll just screw that guy. Screw that guy. But yeah, also while I am on Twitter.
Also, I just read there. I think the whole Demi Lovato thing is part of the new channel Peacock. She's doing a podcast about it.
Oh, is it on Peacock? Yeah, that's where Saved by the Bell went, right?
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, whenever they brought Saved by the Bell back. Yeah, I think it went to
So I
Peacock.
think
What the
Demi
frig is
Lovato's getting a
Peacock?
Peacock's like
Peacock's
the
a
new
TV streaming thing.
Yeah, I think Peacock took over. What was the channel with the Peacock? NBC.
NBC.
NBC, yeah.
I think
Is this
that's-
because they're getting loads of flack for not having diversity in one of those award ceremonies or something? That was NBC as well, wasn't it? Or no, did they? No, they removed support of. It wasn't the Oscars.
Everyone's
It was one
scared
of
to
the
do
other ones.
everything. Everyone's scared,
Yeah.
like Donald Glover said.
It was like
Yeah,
another.
everybody has
Everyone's scared to entertain
Yeah,
and go
I
out
seen
there
that.
because of cancel culture, and I'm like, you're fucking right, dude. You're right.
He's also
I-
getting sued at the minute, I think, for
I don't think he cares.
for like apparently somebody tried to say that he stole "This Is America."
No, I'm sure he did. Sure he did.
It was in the
I
news
remember
the other
that from ages ago, actually, and somebody tried to say it sounded like a song, and then I listened to it, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't
day.
sound
Not
like
even
that.
close.
I know the funny thing about that, because Donald Glover never tweets much, people took it and they have heightened that tweet so much, but most people seem to think that whenever he said it, he was talking about his television show being cancelled. And everyone was getting real deep into cancel culture, and he was just like, people are afraid to make
Just my
creative
show.
stuff because they're afraid of being cancelled. Funny thing, he meant like, they're afraid of their TV show being cancelled, and people were like, yeah, you can't say anything now, like the world's gone mad. He's like, oh shit, I just meant like,
Don't you cancel Atlanta? Don't you?
yeah, that's what he's trying to say. He's like, he's making Atlanta, and he's gonna continue to make it a very weird show.
Although,
just because.
do you know how mental the world has gone? I think there's a story out there where they are trying to censor or remove is it Cinderella, where the prince kisses her while she's asleep because of the consent thing?
Sleeping Beauty, probably,
Sleeping
right?
Beauty. That
It's
thing.
kind of the premise of the story is going to be the
going
issue
too
there.
far.
Her name is Sleeping Beauty, not Awake Beauty.
It's going
And
too
yeah, she needs the kiss to wake up. You know.
far. People are cancelling Disney cartoons because
Yeah.
it's called Sleeping Beauty and the prince has to kiss her, and it's like, no, it's no consent.
know.
I'm like,
I know.
it's no, I'm not gonna.
Finish it. Finish it.
It's a cartoon, but I also, can see some of the, Disney has some shady things like.
I know, but it was also Disney in like the 1960s or something. Back whenever, like, I don't know, you thought smoking was healthy.
I think,
You know what I
think
mean?
I think I seen somebody comment on that story, and they sort of said like this was the person talking. Me as a responsible parent, if I don't feel that I can explain to my kids what consent is about after them watching like Sleeping Beauty and like
Bloopy.
not, yeah, Sleeping Bloopy,
Sleeping Booty. That's the porno. Sleeping
if
Booty.
if I can't let them watch that and worry about them getting mixed messages and like can't just explain to them, real world scenarios and issues and stuff whenever they're old enough, then I'm not really a great parent. I think was like their comment. You know what I mean? It's more
just a quick thing before we even go even more into a tangent. It's like, if so many things get censored now, like, how do you learn and how do you go, this is not what this is, you don't do this, this is what not to do. Like, if you think about when that was made to now, we have learned so much.
Oh yeah.
And that is the exhibit A of right here. See this thing? That's a mistake. We've learned from this, and now we're here in this much of a time.
Let's not erase it from history.
Let's not erase this where people can learn not to do it. Instead of going, oh, everything's been perfect up to this point. This thing? Oh, no, nothing's happened over there.
Yeah, that's what it feels like that a little bit. Although, I mean, in the context of things that actually warrant some sort of Sleeping Beauty does not warrant a cancel culture fucking regime. I can understand it with certain things where you're like, whenever this was made, it was like highly insensitive to whoever or whatever they said. But yeah, I mean, times change, man. And it's not really a bad thing that times change. Like, we don't have to look back and be angry about it now because it's not happening now, and it's too late. Those people have made their money. They have done what they were going to do with that. Doing something now doesn't really change anything. What are you going to do? Take them to court because they hurt your feelings like 50 years later? Like, I mean, you're not going to achieve anything. And if you're so focused on it, like, you probably just need to do something else with your life. Because there's a lot more important current event topics that you could be using that power for. We don't need to cancel Sleeping Beauty. We don't need to cancel Paddington Bear. Don't need to cancel Cat.
Did they try that? All right.
He did so. I don't know. Probably like an anti-Semite or something. Knowing the internet, he said something that made him anti-Semitic. I don't know. Paddington's cancelled though. Also.
Did he not like just Marmite? Was that his thing, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, no, he was the old Marmalade.
Marmalade.
It wasn't Marmite, yeah.
Marmalade.
Marmalade
Because
sandwiches.
who the hell likes Marmite?
And he kept them in his hat. You love it or hate it, Andy? You love it or hate it? They literally put it on the bottle, and I was like, yes, those are the two choices, correct?
That is true.
I don't. That's pretty much. You could put that tagline on everything. You either love it or you hate it.
Love it, you hate it.
Or you think it's
what's next on the list?
Okay. Or you think it's okay.
What's on the agenda? This has gone left.
Well, this is right, and I actually thought this was a wise piece of advice. I was talking to a friend about cancel culture earlier today, and we were messaging, and she said to me, like, the crazy thing is sometimes people go so far left that they end up being right. And I was like, that is very true. Like, you go so extremist left-hand politics that you're as crazy as the extremist right-hand politics where you're, like, screaming in someone's face that they can't do that. And I was like, man, that's so right-wing. But you're meant to be, like, liberal.
Andy, you always crazy. Laugh at me for being centrist and sitting on a fence. But I feel I'm right in the sweet spot, baby. That's where I want to be.
Mike's gonna
start
crazy,
that. Crazy left. I'm not crazy right. I'm just here watching y'all.
I'm just crazy.
Get all amped up about crazy shit.
No, but see and again, you know me, but I love to spark. Like, Stu knows, he's seen me in the canteen at work. I used to work there. Like, I would love to just, if everybody's going, oh, this, yeah, and then I go, but.
Andy likes to go against the grain.
Just go the other
just
way.
Even if at the end of the convo I go, but I also don't care. So I just wanted the conversation.
Let's see what everybody says if I say the other thing.
Man, you're such a pot stirrer. It's like you get everybody amped up, and it's like you get them all getting annoyed, and you're like, I genuinely don't care about this, and I leave. It's like, that's so annoying.
I'm still gonna like it.
It's like, you have not changed my mind one iota. See you later.
I just wanted the back and forth. That's all.
No, I just I don't know. I see something. If it's wrong, it's wrong in my eyes. If it's right, it's right. Like, bouncer pushing up a man in the street, I'm like, I ain't gonna fucking say something about this because that's bullshit. And then other people are like, whatever. It's okay.
But on Happy Thoughts, it was Kermit the Frog's fucking
Oh yeah, it's his
birthday the other day.
The meme god himself, Kermit the Frog, must be pronounced that way. Kermit the Frog.
Right, what have you got on your list? I feel like I'm derailing this thing.
Don't worry, happy birthday, Kermit. Let's spend another 45 minutes on that. What's your favorite Kermit meme, everyone? No. I got a little topic to talk about, again, from all-knowing Twitter, where everything happens, where the world revolves around the Twitterverse. Sam Wickens. We've talked about him on the show before. Local artist, very good. Some crazy cool music videos made with Dan Media, which is now just called Dan Media. I forget. He changed. He rebranded. And I think it went from.
Tell me it was going to be Double D or something.
No, I think he went from 3 Ds to 2 Ds possibly, or maybe just 1 D. I forget. But some kind of Dan Media. But he makes all the really cool music videos. And yeah, we've talked about it before on the show. Anyways, follow Sam on Twitter, and he put a tweet up that says, after over a year of no income as a musician, I got asked to perform for free to support a business that has been able to continue to operate throughout the whole pandemic. I'm absolutely disgusted, to be honest. Exposure didn't help me once throughout this whole thing. And you can imagine that a lot of people had a lot to say. There was a little second part to this where Sam said, not saying who the business is, but they are heavily connected to the music scene, and what makes it so much worse as they would know how much of a toll this pandemic has taken on local musicians. But yeah, so a lot of people had a lot to say on it, and of course it's similar to the bouncer thing, where there's a lot of people saying stuff, and it's like we're all in the same camp with this. I think we all know how shit it is, and crazy that it's still such a, I wonder what the right way to put this. I think it's so bad that still at this point in 2021, where the music industry and being a musician is still kind of looked at as not a thing. So it's like you almost feel bad asking for payment. I know that's always my issue. I feel weird if I get paid for it, because I enjoy to do it, and I would be creating anyway, no matter what I did. But it sucks, I actually got paid like in the most professional way I've ever done in my life for music recently, where I had to invoice someone, and I find that crazy, and I was like, I don't even know how to do this. And it's like, it probably shouldn't have been that strange to me, seeing as the amount of times I've performed, and the amount of things that I've done for people or events that I've played at or went to and provided services for. I've never sent an invoice for anything, because I'm just like, yeah, I'll do that.
I've had to do it twice for us. I took care of admin.
Did you do it? Oh, you did it. Oh, love it.
So you have been paid that way before? You probably
I have.
Just didn't
well, that's
know.
good. I just didn't know then. Mike was the management. That's good, though. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
Can you say where for?
The one that I can remember, obviously, this is the one that you would probably think would be the one. Music Center for Culture Night.
Culture Night. I thought you were gonna say that because it's all to do with the arts grants.
And there was definitely one other gig, but I can't remember which one. But
yeah,
because I actually still had the invoice saved. Was the later one, so I had it saved from a previous time, and I just had to fill it in again, which was handy.
And
that doesn't happen very often. Where you have to provide an invoice.
I know. Well, you also know, like, the I don't really expect that with things, especially whenever you have like all these grassroots guys trying to put on a show themselves. It's like, I'm not gonna invoice you later. I mean, you can't just hand me some money there and then. Like, that's fine, cash in hand, whatever. But yeah, it's I kind of hate doing it. Oh yeah, even having the comments there, sending invoices was my least favorite part of running SRH sound. So that was at Simon Hart whenever he was running his engineering, like production business. He was, recording and mixing for people. I'd be interested to know if he's still in the comments there. Your least favorite part, just because it's the business side, or you felt bad actually asking people for money despite you providing a professional service, which is what
is it
the
the
real
asking
issue
for
is.
money, or is it the nuisance of having to fill out an invoice?
Yeah,
I feel like it's gonna be, knowing Simon is gonna be like, yeah, I don't like asking for money because
Yeah.
he's such a nice guy.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is we all know that it's it's like any other industry, it ain't nothing like that's gonna get done for free. And I just feel like some of them are more normalized than others, and I could be wrong because I obviously have not like thrown my hat in any of these rings before, but I would say photography is a much more normalized business, for asking for money, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying it's not hard and it's still part of the arts or whatever, but I feel like it's much more, I expect whenever I see, whether it be gig photographers or people who are taking band photos and stuff, whenever I see them putting up work and everything, I fully expect that, I wonder how much they charge. It's not like I think, I could put on a show, I wonder would those guys play, it would be good for them,
I think it happens as well. I know there's a lot, especially the problem is that I only think the visible photographers are the ones that make it, and those are the ones that are making money, and it's easy to make money. But see the ones that don't make it, if you compare them to like bands that are trying to make it, there's a lot of people that will just go out and start shooting for free, and unless you find a band or somebody that believes in you and wants you to shoot them regular, like everybody is happy to take your pictures. Like if you start going out to gigs and stuff to shoot stuff, take your pictures and not pay you anything for it. It's like, I'll credit you on the post or whatever. I'll tag you in Instagram as the picture taker. It's the exact same thing does happen, but I think maybe the slight difference in it is, especially whenever you're talking about music photography, you're taking pictures of people who understand that struggle then. So
True.
So a lot of times then you will get people that are like, I would like to be able to give you something for this, or if I can't give you something because they're just as poor broke a band, it's like, I want to try and help as much as possible and plaster your name everywhere because you took these photos for us, sort of thing. But I'd honestly, I think it does just happen as much.
It could be the same. I know I'm just I'm more plucking another area of the arts out of the air. It's just whenever I see somebody that is again, you're talking more grassroots, not like a professional photography studio that's been set up, because my lord, I've been in one of those, and the amounts they charged, I was like, what no, I can't do this. I can't do it. I got worried when I walked in the place and I started seeing awards everywhere. I was like, oh shit, like this isn't good, this is gonna cost a fortune. That was whenever we done the photo shoot thing with Alex whenever he was born. It was meant to be like a newborn shoot that we got for something. We got some sort of voucher, and then the pandemic happened, so we couldn't go, and we had to go later. And I just remember walking in, and we were gonna pay for some of them. We knew afterwards, and it was like, oh dang, they got a lot of awards. That's not good. That's not. I wish they weren't doing so well. Maybe I could afford it then. But anyways,
But
yeah.
is that not? Fuck, I'm probably gonna get hated by independent artists here. But is that not the like you walked into a professional? That guy wasn't a professional from the beginning. I guarantee he barely got paid for his first few photos. He kind of had to make it like it was a hobby to start.
Maybe.
Then he made it into a job because at some point it went click. I need to take this seriously. And then rebuild. Yeah,
but I would say, like, whenever you're walking into one of those professional studios now, one that has won awards, one that's doing whatever, it wasn't like, I understand the cost. The cost was a lot higher than you probably would have thought, but it's like they had a bunch of people working there, like, to edit everything. They do everything. They do like newborn shoots, they do wedding photography, they had all these massive canvases up. It's not like they're just doing it every once in a while. It's like they had a team. Whenever you are getting, spending a day of work to do all these photo shoots and then editing like 500 photos to narrow it down and offer the customer the best option at the end, it is a crazy amount of work, and then you have a lot of people to pay. So I understand that, but I'm just talking more like whenever you go to like a more grassroots thing. I don't know. I'm just sticking with photography at the moment because this is the example we've used. But like, whenever I've seen some people that, you know, are not necessarily just in the music scene. There's people I went to school with who ended up doing photography or you know, videography and things like this for weddings or whatever, and they just started stuff up themselves. But I knew at the beginning, even whenever they were offering shoots and stuff, they were posting stuff up and they were like, you know, like DM me for, you know, prices or whatever, be doing cheaper prices for. It was never once they were gonna be doing it for free from the get-go from most people.
So from the very beginning, they just went,
a lot of these
pay
people,
me for this.
Yeah, but maybe a lot less, you know. And if you're somebody who's getting married, like, I mean, you know, you look at wedding photographers and it costs a fortune. If you have a friend who is a photographer and they're trying to make something and they're like, look, I could do this for you for like half the price. The price of wedding photographs is like still 500 odd pounds or something like that. It's still a wild amount of money, but in comparison to what you could be paying, you're like, yeah, we'll totally just pay this guy for that because I think it's worth it and he'll be making money. It'll be cheaper for us, whatever. Not really the point. I just mean like, maybe it is just because I'm doing it from an artist perspective where I feel the struggle for them, you know, where I'm like, I don't expect them to do anything for free. And sometimes I feel like they go in, like a lot of people do photography, go in with a better mindset of DM me for prices, you know, where it's like, it makes more sense. You're going to take photographs. It's an agreement then. It's like, okay, we'll meet up here. What's your prices? Here's my price list, whatever. But it's like, whenever there's a gig, it's like, here, do you want to play a show on whatever date? And then you'd be like, yeah, what does it pay? We won't know until we see how many people show up. That's the part that sucks. That's what I feel is the differing factor between music and a lot of other things, is like, it's not someone just paying for a service. It's like, oh, it's all going to be dependent on how successful that night is, even though it's my job as the promoter to make it successful. But I can't guarantee you a certain amount of money up front. You know what I mean? I think that it could be problem number one, but then you've got the people that run these shows. I'm not blaming them either, because how are they supposed to know? They're doing it out of the love for the game. It's not like they have loads of vested interests. It's not like they're making money. If anything, they probably lose money on it to try and keep a music scene alive. But I really feel like in there lies the problem of people being taken advantage of for playing music live and doing performances, because it almost builds a community where it seems like that's okay to do. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. I feel like I'm saying stuff and you guys are just like, yeah, all right.
No, I can ramble if you want.
Like, nobody's disagreeing with me tonight. It's just like,
no. I don't know. I feel like I'm always on the, not the disagreeing side, but always on the side that people don't want to hear. It's like,
go against the grain. Go against the grain.
No, can't do that.
There, Simon said, yeah, that's the latter. Pricing yourself is also a horribly stressful part of business. Yeah. You don't know how much you're worth, which is quite hard, because it's like, you need to show that you're worth something.
There you go. That's what I was about to say. You need to show your worth before asking. Yeah. So you need to know how much you're worth first.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that. I think it'd be crazy if I was out there offering stuff and be like, oh, you wanna, I don't know, the shows start up again. Somebody messaged me, oh, would you be interested in playing this night? And I'd be like, right, okay, it'll cost £200. You know, like, it's so weird for me. And it's like, it probably shouldn't be that weird to ask for a certain amount of money. I'd be like, this is how much it costs to book me, you know, and then just taking the L when it doesn't happen. I don't know, man. I've been trying it all different kinds of ways for years, like, so I don't really have an answer. But I mean, I've done it where usually people just ask me and I'm like, all right, I'll do the show. It's like, yeah, no problem. And then you walk out with like £10 in your hand. You're like, sweet, this will not pay for gas at all.
Yeah, I know. It is
pointless.
It's brutal, but also, when you start doing hobbies and hoping they're jobs at the very early stage, you hope, you're just like, I'm going for this for a job to do this, is when disappointment hits, when you don't get it, and then your morale just goes, and then you start going, I know, but we should be getting paid, and like you're putting yourself out there for an opportunity. You're using your hobby as an opportunity to get that as a permanent gig.
True, but I mean, this is the issue that Sam brought up in his tweet, and I would have to agree with him, to be honest with you. Is he what was the words he used? He said he's absolutely disgusted. Exposure didn't help me once throughout this whole thing, because that is often the argument. Is, oh yeah, you're doing it for free for a while or whatever at the beginning, but the exposure is really good, and people convince you of the businesses convince you of it. So you're getting your name around, you're getting your face around, and it's like, it's a bit I can get my face around. Get my face around by just going around and put my face places. Like, I can do that myself. I don't need your help with that. I don't think people will remember it any more than if I just like went around and did loads of shit myself. I don't know, man. The only thing that I would say, and it's really like, it's only been happening more recently, because I mean, whenever we did the band, Mike, like, I mean, we were never paid amazingly at all. Sometimes never paid
at all.
That's the full stop. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes never paid. Still waiting on certain payments from certain people. Should message him. Any chance of that? Of that, like $17. That band memes joke. Yeah, I just seen that in the comments there. It's like, I can only offer you like $17. It's like every single show. That's the payment. Like $17. It's fine. I don't know. I
mean, I definitely get the argument. I sit somewhere in the middle because I know.
No, you don't.
That's why
surprise.
we literally put him in the middle of the YouTube channel.
You know what?
On the
just
screen, because
take
he's
that
always in the
hungry
middle.
ghost out and just put I sit somewhere in the middle. That'll just
I
be
think
my
I am
tagline.
the angel, and Andy is the devil, and Mike is just that person
Yeah,
right there,
this
not
is-
being
this
able
is
to make a
literally just-
decision.
A
I'm fucking this
conversation
guy
with my
here.
conscience.
Hey, if you are watching on YouTube, right?
Can you change
Andy's,
these squares to like imagine bubbles?
No, I was just gonna
one
say,
side
right?
the other.
Andy has very dark red lights on his thing, and I'm thinking, hold on, if I start blasting up my heater, I could have an angelic holy light right here, and then I could be
Wait,
the
should
angel.
I go?
Can you turn your light? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Okay, so
Beautiful.
This guy, watch out for this guy. This guy, yeah.
Beautiful.
You
we've
completely
made
threw
something
me
here.
off, but I can't even remember what I was gonna say.
Sorry. Fuck.
Other than I
think-
sit somewhere in the middle. I agree with you all. Was probably what I was gonna say.
Man, I didn't finish a thought either. I was gonna say something.
Yes, no, sorry. You were talking about B-button days, and I was
Oh,
gonna say
yeah.
that I do sit
Correct.
somewhere in the middle because it is hard. I mean, I completely understand the arguments of somebody like Sam, who, like, that guy came out of the gates running, and he has a complete look, complete sound. I mean, he legit looks like he could be dropped into the charts at any moment, and off he goes to the races. For him to go to a bar that, again, he's not naming names, but is part of the local music scene, like a bar that interacts with big established acts on the local music scene, to go to one of those places and them turn around and go, oh, we'll not give you money, but we'll give you exposure, that seems inherently wrong to me. That does, as he said, it's disgusting. You know what I mean? They probably have the means to compensate people properly, and as he says, they also probably know how much musicians have been struggling the whole time. So they should have a different attitude to others. Whenever I compare it to the likes of whenever we were farting about running up and down the country doing B-button, I know we were taking gigs in places that we shouldn't have. But as I say, I sit on the fence with this. I, at the time, wasn't really thinking of the money and really enjoying a lot of the experience and the stupid crack that we got up to driving to, like, all the way down to Dublin or over to Londonderry to play shows with you and Phil and Adam. And at that point, you weren't so much focusing on the money. Every bit of money that you did get, though, this is the thing that some people don't understand. It's like, if you legit believe in your band and you're trying to do something, every bit of money that we got was being fed back into, like, how do we make this band bigger? How do we make it better? Like, should we, because we were always working things out. It's like, are you better investing your money going to, like, an actual recording studio, or like paying a producer, or like using it on a music video, or like whenever you start getting money in as a band, it's like, well, how do you use it then? Because it's like, it's not like you're going,
That's a big
I know there is some
conversation.
guys that'll get like a £20 at the end of the night to play a show, and they'll go immediately and they'll buy a carry-out or something.
That was just
you know what
that.
I mean?
Well, I know exactly who that was. Phil in the band. That was every time we got paid for the show. He's like, so we just all split it and get pints.
Just go get a
We
wee
just get,
pint.
just get a couple pints between us. And I was just like, no, we'll put it in the band fund. He's like,
See, that's when you know it's a hobby to one person.
But this is entirely where I feel like it's a weird kind of, there is a line that you can cross with it, and not that it's fair, but there is some bands that aren't quite there yet. There are some bands that are young and still cutting their teeth, but like whenever that happens to somebody like Sam Wickens, who to me is like, people should be chomping at the bit to give that guy an opportunity, to pay that guy properly, to get that guy out of just the Northern Ireland music scene and make him another. This is the thing. The music scene isn't good enough at supporting our artists here in a way that we can get them out to mainland UK and have another Gary Lightbody, have another, God forbid, Van Morrison or something. You know what? Have a big artist from Northern Ireland that you actually get to the UK music scene and blow them up because they have the support of their local music scene, and the people at the top that control that scene take them across to the UK and shout and scream their name to make them big in the UK as well. I think it is definitely getting better. I mean, there's fresh people involved in ATL and stuff now, and I know Gemma Bradley's doing a lot of good stuff, especially with Jordan Etatunji and stuff, and she's got her own stuff going on and all too. But there does need to be people that are kind of pushing our music whenever artists hit a certain level where it's like, well, where do they go next? And there's this whole big problem with a massive body of water separating what is the next level for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. That's kind of my middle ground sort of thing. It's like, yeah, there was certain points where we played gigs and it pissed me off because we didn't get compensated properly or whatever. But I got memories from those, and I know we were dealing with shitty people sometimes and stuff, and that's kind of part of it, and it's kind of part of learning. But that's really what pisses me off the most about it. I seen that message as well that you were saying with Sam, and it's like, that shouldn't be happening to somebody who is a pretty big prospect, and is making all the right moves, and like everything looks 100% pro from him. You know what I mean? That really disappoints me. Whatever whatever bar that was.
Yeah, wherever that was the big question. Who is it? Who is it though, Sam?
Unfortunately, as everybody knows, the music industry, whether it's local or worldwide, is just, once you reach a certain point beyond your friends list, it's
shady,
just a
man.
brutal place.
It's a brutal mistress, as they say. I know. I have a couple of points on this, right? I'm gonna try not to like blather on about this for too much longer because I know how it'll go. Number one, I think that person that we should all support and get behind is me. I think we should blow me up. Don Maple, for Northern Irish's big music person that we all love so much. Gemma Bradley, still haven't played my song on ATL, still waiting on that. Sure, it's just sitting there in the rack on the side, and when you put it in the CD player, I didn't send a CD, but once you put it in the CD player, flames are just gonna come out because it's that fucking good. All right. But yeah, I mean, once that happens, I'm pretty much going global anyway, boys. I don't know if anybody heard Rainbow Road, but Jesus Christ, I mean, Come on.
Oh yes, here let's talk about that. Oh, did you that
Wait, well,
live thing that you done?
Oh yeah. Well, I suppose we can speak about that as well. Although my one thought that was actually on the point, the thought that I didn't finish from before,
The not joke thought.
the not joke thought was that there is genuinely such an amazing feeling and motivation that comes from actually being paid for your work, and I can say that like I've probably only been getting paid properly in the last year or so, where it feels like it's not like a usual income, but the things that I'm choosing to do and the people I'm choosing to work with, or the fact that I'm just offering to create things for a one-off day deal sort of thing like that. That's me just taking control of my own thing, you know. And I would be more inclined to turn around and turn down shows at this point because I'm happy doing my own thing. I like to create. I like the fact if people want to book me for shows, that's fantastic. But I also have a lot of other responsibility, you know, of my normal like actual income job that I need, and that comes first. And looking after my son and spending time with my family comes first. And it's like, yeah, you know, if I can do a show, it would be fun to play, but it's gonna have to be worthwhile at this point in my life. So I think I would be very much more entitled to be like, you know, what's it gonna pay? I don't mind asking that anymore. I used to feel very embarrassed. I don't think people should feel embarrassed because it's fine. I'll be like, look, I just need to realistically see if this is something worth my time a little bit, you know, not to be ignorant about the whole thing, but it's like, you know, if you're gonna have to go up there, it's all these stupid costs, you know. It's like, it doesn't seem like much, but it's like, yeah, it's your fuel there. You're gonna spend the whole day up there that you could have spent doing something else.
That's what I was gonna bring up.
You know, it's not just like a show up play thing. Like, you got it sound checks at like 6. A lot of times I would like finish my actual job, get ready, have to go and pick up band members, then drive to the show. Then, you know, it's all fine, and it was definitely fine whenever I was doing it before because I wasn't as concerned. And now it's kind of like, right, I like creating stuff, but I would like to be compensated for it. I would like to earn a bit of side money for it because it is something I'm passionate about, and I'm no longer really afraid to say no to a show, put it that way. And I think that's also part of the problem is you can turn it down and make yourself more sought after. I don't know if that happened or else people just don't care anymore.
No,
but like
there is a fear as a young artist as well. It's like whenever you get to the stage where you know you're doing good, definitely don't be, because I think it took us a little bit too long to, don't be afraid to turn down a show. It doesn't always do you harm. It can sometimes do you good.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Especially if you're just going to play in the same location over and over again.
You can also overplay. Yeah, if you're just taking everything that's offered to you, you can overplay a location and stuff. If you're, again, I don't always know who we're talking to here, because I know some people jump on and they're straight on the comments and stuff, and then some people watch it later, and I always like to try and speak to, like, you know, young Mike, young Stuart and stuff. It's like, you know, trying to help people avoid the mistakes that we made and stuff. If you get to, we've talked about this before in a similar way, as in like trying to push your music. If you get caught up in the same circles, the same thing applies with playing shows. If you get caught up in the same circles of just playing the same places all the time, you're not doing yourself any favors, and you're settling into your comfort zone. Like, you're only pushing forwards if you're slightly outside of your comfort zone. So if you have played, just like taking Belfast for example, if you played a show in Belfast and you keep getting a show once a month and it's in the same bar, or it's like a street down the road or something like that, and you're constantly tapping your friends to go to it over and over again, that is very going to quickly run out, and it's not going to be a viable thing. You need to be trying to push yourself to look elsewhere and play elsewhere.
The only time that works is if you're a house band. Like, that's literally the only time it works. But if it's like a proper local brand gig sort of thing, then yeah, it is just constantly
like Fusion.
Fusion, yes, yeah. I mean, those guys can make money that way.
But
that's,
this is the thing
again,
as well.
cover bands, it's a whole different ball game. If you're a cover band, it's I don't want to say easier, man. It's still a struggle anyway, but it is a different ball game.
To sit on the fence again, it's all what you want from it though too. You know what I mean? If you're happy playing that gig once a month in the same place, and that's all you want from it, like,
Yeah.
fuck it, man.
That's what
Play
would be
play
alright.
some
Dude.
shows for your friend.
Look, things
your
change.
friend, your friends,
Your friend.
your
Yeah,
one
that's-
friend that
You
comes.
talking,
in.
about my show?
That's.
That one guy that's there?
But yeah, like, I mean, it is that thing. It's kind of like just every band, every artist or whatever, like, just do what's right for you, but like definitely try and step outside of yourself and look at your situation and go, like, if I'm not happy with this, then like, what can I do to change things, mix things up? What am I maybe not doing right? And like, whenever it comes to shows, if you feel like shows aren't really helping you, or like the attendance just keeps going down, look at it as, am I just playing the same places? Am I just like asking the same people to turn up? Maybe I go somewhere outside of where I'm like asking people that just know me to come to the show. Maybe I go somewhere else and support a band where I can maybe grab some fans of whoever I'm supporting or whatever, meet some new people. It is all about that. It's like, it's about going to a bar and like playing good music. You gotta have the music, and then like chatting to people afterwards and
Yeah,
making some
for
new
sure.
friends and stuff. You know what I mean? That's how you build something.
Well,
Totally.
the new normal of that might just be what Stu done the other day, and
Live
not do
stream.
gigs, do one gig a month, and do the rest from home every other weekend, every
be.
Sunday. You know what I mean?
Could
It's
be.
like you could easily pull in, I don't know, just random number, 24 people, 90 people, whatever, on a live stream. Go to a bar once a month and pull in 15.
Yeah, for sure. I know.
Depending on, you know, especially when it comes to winter, summer, everyone wants to go outside. Winter, it's like, don't really want to go here.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I mean, we can even we'll do a quick ad break, and I think we talk about that, and we'll talk about my live stream, and there was something else I wanted to talk about before we wrapped up. Oh, yeah, J. Cole, Isaiah Rashad. Got to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
J. Cole.
I have a few other
playing
bitsy
professional
bobsies.
basketball. We gotta talk about that, but we'll go to the ad break first. Be back in 3 minutes. If you want to wrap your ears around all the music we've been talking about on the podcast, we run a special playlist over on Spotify. It's called Distant Sound Waves. Here over at Six Set Bro, we always thought, well, what's the gosh darn point of doing a music podcast if you can't let people hear any music? There is a whole lot of legal mumbo jumbo and copyright issues that prevent us from actually doing that on the pod. So we thought that was a pretty good compromise. We make a playlist and it gets updated every single month. On the playlist, we have things like all the new singles from local homegrown talent that we've talked about. Maybe some of the bigger artists that we've had conversations about, we'll put those guys on there. Or maybe it's just something new that we stumbled across and we've been talking about on the podcast. It is all there. You can find Distant Sound Waves by searching for it on Spotify, or you can find the links all over our social medias. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm the only one here, though. Having strange problems with my first advertisement, so that was a lot quicker than I expected. But speaking of Distant Sound Waves playlist, we have got an update coming. The May edition update will be down very soon, and we can take a quick look at what that's gonna look like. I will bring it up right in front of me, right here, if you're watching on YouTube. Here we go. Distant Sound Waves, which is a Spotify playlist for May 2021. So we have got Kenny Hoopla on there. Dark Tropics is on there. Isaiah Rashad, J. Cole, we're going to talk about that very soon. Amaric, Travi the Native, the new Billie Eilish, Embarcadero, Voodoo Chief, Mongol Gentlemen's Club, Jordan Atunji, Queen Bonobo, and some more Royal Blood for you. Yeah, I mean, a quick rundown why I chose some of these songs. Kenny Hoopla we have been speaking about on the podcast for a little bit, and have decided that Travis Barker is taking all these young people under his wing to try and bring pop punk back and some sort of emo pop punk type resurgence. Kenny Hoopla is one of those people, and I have been pretty addicted to that song, Hollywood Sucks. Also, if you can see the title on the YouTube channel, you will see that there's 2 little slashes beside Hollywood Sucks. That's because Kenny Hoopla puts that in all of his songs for some weird reason. I don't really know why, but it's there anyways, and it's hugely addictive. And
You talking about Kenny Hoopla?
Yeah, have you heard the
I'm
new
so
song?
there with that whole song, except for the bit where, but I think maybe it's ironic, he just shouts out Coachella.
I know, I thought it was really weird the first time. Coachella! It's like, you're not at
Did
Coachella.
they do that because they're like, we're going to play this
We're gonna play at Coachella.
eventually? But it's like, just do it when you're there.
I
Don't
know.
put it in the song.
I don't know. I don't know. I got used to it after a while. But yeah, that was a random part. And then I also included the Willow track. Travis Barker features on here twice. That Willow track, just because we were kind of making fun of it. The lyrics are so dumb, like so silly, those lyrics. I just can't even deal with them.
What's
go and
happening?
listen.
Willow Smith, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
See, wasn't even here and I knew what was going on.
The female Will Smith. Willow. Big Willie. What a stupid rap name. Don't go around shouting Big Willie.
Big Fat Will?
Oh man, there's so many weird ones. It's like,
No, but have you seen his Instagram where he's posing?
oh
He was like-
yeah. Sorry, I thought you were just doing like another
No,
weird
no,
penis thing.
No.
Yeah, I did see that where he is right. Can I just say, sorry, I was just talking about our Distance Anyways playlist, which but we'll have that out by the end of the week, and it'll all be together, and you should check it out. But we'll put an ad on our Instagram. But shout out to all those guys. Congratulations for making the playlist. Good job, everybody. Good job. You want to be on there, you're gonna get 0.0003 cents per stream off of that bad boy. So invest it wisely. In
I seen
Dogecoin.
there was who did I even get that from? I shared it on my Instagram. There was somebody put up it was on their story just, and it was like, so everybody always knows Spotify plays are horrible at compensating an artist in any way, but it was like, it was the actual equivalent. I think it was like 3 years you would have to listen to an artist's song to pay them the same if you just like purchased the album or EP on Bandcamp. On Bandcamp Friday. It was a Bandcamp Friday post. It was like, you know, if you like an artist and you buy their album on Bandcamp Friday for like £5 or £10 or something, it's the equivalent of listening to their song every day for 3 years or something like that. You know what I mean?
Spotify has a contribution tab, right?
I think they have added that. No,
They've added something, but it's not quite. I don't think
Why-
it's as easy as just here you can contribute. And
Yeah, yeah.
I could be wrong unless it's changed, but you could add stuff like I'm trying to think what's on mine. Were some of them not charities though? You could
Maybe.
like contribute to help musicians and stuff like that.
What
it
I-
wasn't literally like here, pay me on my Patreon,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
which would be handy if you could.
But what I was because see, I still think Spotify, yeah, you pay for the service. It's the biggest thing. It's like Apple, you can still go and purchase.
Yeah, well, that's what we spoke about before. Is it would
Yeah.
probably be the easiest thing to add into
It's like, just
Spotify
add
to
a-
support people. Just
Add a
add
purchase,
a purchase
and then
button.
and it's been doing that for years. It's like you purchase the single, and you can purchase this, and then this, depending, and then it's like,
know what I
you can
think
now
that-
buy all this album for like the discounted price of you owning these singles, and then here's the album, and people go, the album's like £3 because you've purchased 4 singles. Yeah, take
You know
this.
what I think Spotify's problem with that is that Apple obviously do that because they already had a whole infrastructure there,
iTunes?
because they started you know pay for the track first, and then it's like, oh, streaming happened, so we got to catch up, so they made the streaming service second. But it's like Spotify only made the streaming service, so they don't have a site that you can go to purchase stuff, and it doesn't take you off Spotify. What they're worried about is the same as what Facebook is worried about, and why Facebook completely fucks with anybody trying to like promote music or anything for that matter. It's like they don't want you leaving their platform. They don't want you leaving their site. So like for Spotify to add a purchase link means like they would be like linking to Bandcamp or iTunes or something like that, because it's like we don't
But
have
why not have-
infrastructure there to purchase on our platform.
But that's what I mean. Why don't Spotify add the purchase directly from the artist
Probably
page?
cost to them, because it probably will cost an awful lot to build that. But it may be the future. Like if you put enough pressure on them, which I think a lot of people are, hopefully they will try and change for the better. And maybe that is something that they'll introduce. I really hope it is, because it would be handy to just have that button there.
It would be
you know?
good. Although, right, I have, and I've had this for a while, and I think we're going to have to, we're going to take this clip and we're going to make a highlight of this shit, because it's a good idea. Okay? Right, hold on. I'm going on Dragon's Den here, or Shark Tank, or whatever it's going to be. We get the tense music.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Whatever. Well, I know. Well, this was for a quiz that we did once, but we're using it for Shark Tank. 6 Pro Shark Tank edition. Right. So here's the idea. Right. Do you remember there was a streaming service called Resonate? And we talked about it on the show before. And the idea was pretty simple. It was like, okay, you could stream a song, but it was like you would stream it, and every time you streamed it, it cost you money.
Yep.
And it could cost you a little bit more money till you owned that song. So it starts off and it's like, oh, your first play is only like 3 cents, but then the next play is like 9 cents because
you were leasing. You were leasing the song.
Yeah, you're leasing the song more or less, because it was like, well, the more you listen to it, the more you like it, the more you want to support it. Yeah. And the money goes up until you own it, and then it's free to you forever. So it was like 9 streams. I have an idea that would be less scary for people to move over to, because obviously it's that sort of... I always thought the problem with Resonate that would worry me is like the same reason that I always feel I have to get the unlimited internet packages. Is like, I don't want to keep worrying about like how much, although it's small amounts of money, it's like I don't want to think about how much I'm spending all the time. I just want to know that it's one cost, a month or whatever. So what I think Spotify should do is to support artists. They do exactly what they're doing now, which is, they get such a small fraction, like you said, it's going to take you like 3 years or something crazy. I don't even know if that's like 3 years for an album or 3 years for a single. I'm talking out of the world of singles here. But say it's like a fraction of a cent you get paid for every track, right? It should be made into like a game to support artists, right? So there should be a percentage of how much of the track you own based on how many times you've listened to it. And whenever you reach certain percentages, like 25% owned, then you get the things on it, like the, what are they called? The canvases, the little videos that play on it or something. It'd be like, say you don't get the video until you reach 25%, or, you get something like these little things. But it would encourage you, like these little Easter egg things for an artist that you like, is like...
You want a live service from video games to music?
What?
You want a live service, the song? You want a Division? You want a Destiny, the song? It's like, here's some of the game.
No. Well,
Keep playing,
not really, though.
And then...
Well, it's still the song. The whole point is you're listening to the song, and these are little extras that people have given you to, like...
These are cosmetics.
To interest you more in the song. It's not like...
Surprise mechanics.
You can only listen... You can only listen to 2 minutes of the song until you stream it enough times. That's fucking dumb. But what I'm saying is... You see, if there was something under each track that you had to show you what percentage of it you owned, rather than the fact that you just never own it, I think that would be very interesting.
I can definitely see that working, because people like to fill progress bars.
Don't they?
You know
this
what I mean?
This is what my thought was.
Especially if you had a nice little sound effect and a little animation
whenever you
at the
reached
end,
a certain
100%,
thing. Even if it gave you something for your... It doesn't have to be for the song, so it doesn't have to be the canvases, but if Spotify supplied something for your Spotify account, because there's not much to do on there at the minute, but like even little I don't know, things for your profile image, or things that you could then add to your profile, because unlocks like
a gamer score.
Because some people won't care, and then people who want to support, it's such an incentive of like, oh, I almost fully own this song, which would be awesome. And then once you own it, I mean, you've paid that person.
Definitely see a lot of that idea working. Like even like so you have your favorite artist as well. It's like, you know, if you stream enough to eventually own a track or whatever, you could unlock like badges and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like for profile pictures or
Yes.
it's kind of
to show that
it
you
is
support
kind of
that
like
band.
it is kind of like merging like gamer score
Yes,
idea
yeah.
sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's like it's giving people like a goal to prove who
It's
they're
like
really into,
Facebook
and people that are
encourages
passionate
you
about
to-
music will get really into that.
Yeah, Facebook encourages you to comment and like posts from pages because then you get a top fan badge, and it's like some people care, some people don't care. But it's almost like doing that is like, oh, if you completely own a song by this person, then you could get some form of, like you say, badge or something to show.
Well-
like you go onto someone's. Imagine I go on your Spotify profile, and then because you have listened to like so much, I don't know, fucking the Dr. Dre or something, and like you now own one of his songs or even an entire album, it's like it comes up as a little logo under yours, almost like catching fucking Pokemon. It'll show you that you own Dr. Dre song because you've streamed it so many times, and then it'll be interesting because you go on and people could have like loads of them
Comparing
collected.
their trophies, sort of thing. Yeah.
Man, this
see
needs
on-
to happen because it's fucking genius.
See on
Somebody's
Twitch.
gonna listen to this podcast, steal our
And
idea,
take
and make
it.
millions.
They will patent trademark right now. Today's date is the 12th of May, 2021. It's 9:37. This was my idea. Don't take it because people keep stealing my ideas recently. I'm an ideas man.
See on Twitch, they have obviously the subscriber badges, which evolve on look and size the months that you are subscribed to a person, which and then they provide perks like non-ads and other Discord services and stuff. But they've also got channel points. So the longer you stay in a channel, the more points you accumulate. And then it's up to the streamer to come up with incentives to spend them
To
points.
spend the points on, yeah.
Yeah.
So they do raffles.
See-
They do like I don't know. There's a streamer where you can ban yourself for 24 hours. They do like memes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's like essentially like I'll listen to a song and however many. What was your listen to? I don't know.
Well, I don't know how we would.
I
I would need
so
to do
just
the
say
math
say
here. Hold
say
on.
say listen to a song. So say you listen to a song. I don't know. 10 times, like that unlocks like a certain amount of points or whatever.
I'm gonna try and do the math right now. So we need to find out what a Spotify stream is worth currently.
I'm
Which-
gonna see if I can find this post. It might speed things along because I did share it to my
And then I will-
story.
Open a
But whether-
calculator and I will work this out to see
Isn't it
why
like
why this
zero-
doesn't work.
Is it not like zero? Is it not like 0.025 or something?
It's 0.00318 cents, right? So what I need is hold on. I'm gonna.
What
go
happened to the preview?
Remember, if you buy an album from Bandcamp, it's around the financial equivalent to the artist of you streaming their music every day for 3 years.
If you buy what, an album? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you buy
Am
an
I?
album
Is
from
is my maths wrong here? Am I not working out right? So, I'm making the assumption that a song could be worth $1, right? And would you not do $1 divided by the price of one stream, which is coming up that it would be 314. 314 streams.
to buy one track.
Yeah. Which I know is crazy, but I'm talking
So
about
that's-
through this way to encourage people to do it for an incentive. But like, so 314, what times a 3-minute song is 942 minutes. What's that in a day? 942 divided by 24 is 39 days. Constant. Yeah, but I mean, I still think that's fine though. So it's not. It's hard. It's like getting a EA game and trying to unlock Darth Vader. It's like getting Battlefront 2 and
like
trying to
getting
get
a
Darth
platinum,
Vader. You gotta
you know?
grind hard. You gotta grind hard
Exactly.
to get those badges. But that's why I'm saying you need to have marks, because just owning it all is the best part at the end, because then you own it. But you're also not like. The only problem I would say with this is it's not really giving the artist any more, I suppose, because it's still saying that the worth of a stream is the same, but it maybe encourages people to grind hard on streams, which then pays that person. You know what I mean?
But you know, the one realistic problem with this is it's not going to change the landscape of independent music. You know, people are going to grind hard on established artists probably and get all these unlocks and trophies on. And also,
depending what you're saying about
negative that I can see is that all this extra content and unlocks and logos or whatever else will be put on the artist. And for an independent artist, it's just more content to create.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is either that's why I'm talking about a simple. I think it would need to work as a simple thing. Yes, it would be cool if it was like the Twitch thing where it's points and then the points equal something depending on what the artist chooses. But I'm talking about a stupid like. It's a token thing, man. Like, I think the simplest thing would be that, like, if you got to own, like, if you own a track by an artist, then you could get, like, that little logo. Like I'm saying, a collectible, like a Pokemon thing of, like, you could collect them all. But then if you own an album, then maybe it gets, like, I don't know, like a gold circle around it to be like, oh, you own a full album by that person. And it's just sort of a thing where you're, like, peeping on other people's streaming habits just to be like, oh man, they got a shiny Dr. Dre.
You wanna?
That's so rare.
Gold
That's so rare,
Charizard.
man. And then people might start streaming really unlikely artists because it's rarer to get it, and then fucking NFT them off.
I was about to say that.
It's up, man. It's the future. I think I've got something here, and I need to reach out to Spotify with this idea because it's genius.
You want to Star Citizen your music? You want to keep going, this is not quite finished yet,
Not
but
ready
hey,
yet.
take this money, can I have some?
If you keep giving us money, it'll be really good eventually.
Yep,
We've reached
yep.
all of our goals with our $300 million.
Yeah, I know. But that's my idea. Nobody steal it. That's mine.
one
If it
steal it.
happens, we all know.
And we've got the date and everything, and
We've
it's
got
recorded.
we got the date. It's a recorded episode. This isn't going anywhere, and I will sue you. So I expect to be fully compensated for this idea, and we're gonna call it the Maple Algorithm. It's after the
the Malgorithm?
the Malgorithm. The Maple. No, it doesn't work with a P. Yeah. Okay. I'm so far gone from what I was gonna talk about.
There it is.
J. Cole is gonna play for Rwanda in the African
Also-
Basketball League.
I'm gonna link this to you for later. He was on LA Leakers right now, not Lakers, Leakers, the
Leakers.
radio show in
The radio show,
yeah. And he's just dropped a freestyle. I'm not gonna be rude and play it. I'm just gonna send you it, and you can listen to it after the podcast.
I will be listening to that. If I don't know if everybody's heard it, but he released an interlude for his upcoming album that just kind of like dropped out of the blue, where he's like, oh, I'm gonna release a record called The Off Season in like 2 weeks. I was like, whoa, okay, J. Cole, way to come out of nowhere. And there's a little documentary you can watch on YouTube about it, and it's cool, man. It's like him, he's there with like 21 Savage, and you know, they're talking about like, why'd you call it The Off Season? And he has the whole thing for like what his early like mixtapes or albums being called the warm up, and it's this whole thing of like, you know, J. Cole, because we all knew J. Cole's actually, he is pretty good at basketball. For like him and Quavo were up there for good, not professional basketball players, who are superstars, and it's because, you know, at one point in his life, you know, he was training hard to be a basketball player, but his point is not as hard as he should have been, and it's a regret that he had of like, you know, he was phoning a lot of it in. So whenever he turned around to sort of be like, with music, like had a friend say to him like, you know, why are you just hanging around with us and not doing anything or working hard or grinding or whatever. It's like the reason you didn't do well in basketball is because people are like in the gym every single day getting their bodies ready, getting trained, doing everything they can, and he's like, I'm just out there imitating Allen Iverson, thinking that I can make it then, just off of like raw talent alone. And it's like, it takes a lot of work. So this is like the off season, go back in, refine the craft. He doesn't want to be stuck in a rut, put it that way. It's like he's practicing on the off season, you know. So it's a beautiful thing. He says he's coming back strong. The interlude is great,
I can't
but it's only an interlude, like, so it's not much to go off of. But it's out. Is it this Friday, next Friday, something like that? It's coming up soon.
Yeah.
It's coming out very soon. But interested in that. And then Isaiah Rashad dropped Lay With Ya, which is...
He was on, it was Kenny Beats' birthday yesterday, and he actually showed up on the stream.
Oh, man, amazing.
So really good.
Which, obviously, we've been talking about this for a while, this mysterious TDE drop, which I was suspect. Oh, yeah, I know. As much as we all wanted.
I know, we all wanted it, I know.
I suspected heavily on the last one that it was going to be Isaiah Rashad, and lo and behold, here he is. And you know what? It's one of these songs where I have to admit, the first time I played it in the car, and I was listening on the drive up the road, and I was like, it's all right. It's okay. And I have not stopped listening to it. I can't stop listening to it. And I love it so much. I've like fallen head over heels with this song. I don't even know why I can't believe it started with, it's not really what I was hoping for, to every waking minute I'm playing that song. I'm just playing it constantly. I just did a drum cover to it on my Instagram there, like a little snippet of a drum cover to it. I just can't stop listening to this song. And I love that the beat is like, it's all like so sludgy. It's all like so low and gritty. And the beat with the sample just sounds like, like, not so much here, but like an American car door, whenever you leave a car door open and it gives you that sort of alarm thing that goes off. It just feels like they sampled that. I don't think that's what it is, but it really sounds like they've sampled that for the beat. Yeah. There's not much to it, but I do love it.
It's a popular sound.
Yeah. What was your take on the song? Do you like it, or is it just? I mean, I can't stop now.
I loved it immediately.
Yeah. Liked songs. Heart. Bing. Straight into the
I don't know
playlist.
why. It was like the first listen. I was like, I don't know why. It's maybe because it took me unawares that he was gonna hit that style or something. Not really what I was expecting from him. And then I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Have you listened to? I think it's The Sun's Tirade, is like his last album that he dropped, and I know he's dropped like much earlier stuff, but like see that whole album, it's amazing. And Kendrick is on a track as well.
Oh yeah,
it's like the whole album is incredible.
Oh, that's TDE for you.
This is the whole thing as well. Is like people have been actually on that album, the last album, he has like a skit as well of somebody like so I think this is kind of Isaiah Rashad's thing, kind of like berating him for not dropping stuff. It's like, your last shit was so tight. The skit's like, your last shit was so tight, but do you not want us to like your stuff or something? It's like, why you not put anything out yet, sort of thing. And all it's like, it's actually a phone call from somebody that's like, hurry up and put more stuff out.
That's awesome. I mean, that's TDE. Their roster's unbelievable.
Just talking about albums, remember last week I brought up bands that are big but
you can't get into.
So I started listening to Melancholy
and the Infinite Sadness.
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins, yeah.
And then I was talking to a friend of ours that we know, Glenn, who's a massive Smashing Pumpkins fan.
Okay.
And I asked him the same question. I was like, if you were going to introduce me to a Smashing Pumpkins album, what would you pick? And then he said what you said, and then he also goes, but you pick that album if you know what Smashing Pumpkins sound like. Go to Gish and listen to that first. So I did.
Yeah.
And I loved the album.
Well, that's good, though.
I like Gish. I started with Gish, listened to Gish all the way through, and I was like, I like this. Like this. So I'm just working my...
They're one of those bands that it's like, it's difficult because they do change a lot, like depending on what record you pick. So it's always kind of difficult, but I feel like whenever people think of Smashing Pumpkins, they think of Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, just because it's like, you know, you've got all those songs on there like Tonight and Bullet with Butterfly Wings, and it's all the songs that people know initially. So it's kind of like, yeah, you probably go there. That was them at their biggest. It's not necessarily their best album, but it depends. To me, they're one of those bands that doesn't have a best album because it really depends what mood I'm in, what I'm gonna listen to. You know, I find it hard to pick one because they're different things.
And then he also said, go listen to Siamese Dream, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Siamese Dream after that. and then
Yeah.
I'll work my way, because then I'll know the
Oh, yeah,
evolution
yeah.
of the Smashing Pumpkins,
Yeah,
their
yeah.
sound.
Man,
I'll be like,
that's
right,
it.
now I hit this. And all them songs that came out on Melancholy and The Infinite Sun is the songs that came out when it was getting drowned out by everything else I was listening to at that time.
Yeah, probably.
So that's
It's
probably
in
why
the
it just like
90s, you know.
skipped, like, yeah. So
Have you listened to? I actually meant to start you on Blur. I was gonna send you Blur songs to listen to.
No,
to see
not
if I
yet.
could get you into Blur.
no, yeah, that'll
Um,
be after.
I'll send you that after this episode. I'll send you some songs. But yeah, this to get you on that. I forgot to add it to the. I was gonna add my favorite Blur song to the
Playlist.
Distant Sound Waves playlist, and I never did it.
And
Yeah.
then
There's still
Glenn
time.
proceeded to tell me about how good the drummer was.
Mm.
And yeah, I can't remember what the song was, but I watched the live performance, and one of the YouTube comments was saying, "I've seen the face of God, and he's playing the drums."
Yeah. Beautiful stuff. Man, they're a great band. I love going back and listen to some Pumpkins. It's always good. But yeah, Isaiah Rashad with the big release, J. Cole with the big release.
DMX's first posthumous album is
Yes,
coming
yeah,
out
yeah.
on the 28th.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's by the Swiss
I think
Beats.
was he working on that beforehand?
He must have been
or-
doing something. He must have been doing something.
You always get worried because I don't know whether he's working on it before or whether people were just that quick to turn around.
I
and-
think because it's produced by Swiss Beats, it won't be bad.
I hope not. I really hope not. I
won't
think
be bad.
I hope it's good. And then, yeah, that's mostly what I had lined up for this episode. I mean, I'd say very quickly that. Oh, do you have something else? Sorry,
I've
before I
got
go.
just 3 things.
Oh, go for it.
Dave Chappelle has a vinyl printed podcast / music album that he's bringing out called How to Inspire. I think I sent you a song a while ago.
You did.
That's
I
from
remember.
that. It's a
Oh,
conversation. It's a conversation with him, Talib Kweli, and like there's some musical artists on there. But it's like a podcast in vinyl form.
Yeah, that's cool.
He was actually talking about it on the Rogan podcast when he was on. So I'm wondering, one, how much that would be, and what the stock is going to be.
Yeah.
Like, how many is he going to print? How many is he going to release?
It feels like it would be very limited.
Dude, and me and Jade have been rewatching Chappelle's show on Netflix recently, and like, I mean, obviously the skits and stuff, it's hilarious and everything,
Yeah.
but like, see the musical guests and stuff that he had, like, just
Oh,
checking
yeah.
in. It was
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Like, it's such a good show.
Do you remember DMX being on that with the
Yeah.
with the fucking the red
The
he called those the
frickin-
dungarees
The dungarees, yeah.
with no shirt? I was like, that is an iconic moment.
That is 100%.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah, and then obviously you've spoken about J. Cole's basketball.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to finish that. Yeah, after all that thing with the album, it's like there was an announcement made right afterwards that he's gonna go play for Rwanda in the African basketball league, professional basketball league. And that's and even they sent me a message back like, why J. Cole trying to kill himself?
Because the dunk, if you
what
see
age is
the
he?
dunk,
The
he
dunk
dunks
does
the
look
ball,
like he's killing himself.
and he lands on his upper back first on the floor.
I know.
Why are you coming with an album and you're gonna put yourself in a wheelchair? What is going on right now?
Yeah. I mean, what I said to you, I think, is the truth, though. It's J. Cole being a real one, as usual. Is people are like, oh, this is crazy. Like, what the hell? Like, what age is he now? Is it 30? Is it 30?
He's probably 32.
Something like that. I don't know. But in basketball age, that's like ancient. But
We all seen what happened to Tom Segura when he tried to dunk.
oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Tom. Yeah, that's Tommy, though. Yeah, so, like, the thing that J. Cole, I would say he's clearly doing is that he's trying to bring star power and eyes to the fact that Africa is starting a professional basketball league, which is why he's playing for Rwanda. It said that he's going to play, like, 3 to 6 games. So it's not like, the headline is misleading, but it's like nobody would be talking about it if it wasn't for him going there. So he's going there to support it, for, I'm sure, I haven't really looked into the details, but it'll be a financially beneficial thing to Africa.
Three to 6 games in any league. We've tried to play once a week, and it's like
he probably still will
do
kill
this.
him. Yeah. Well, maybe he'll just ride the bench for the whole thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
I hope so, because I want more albums from J. Cole.
Yeah, true.
It would be like doing his next record. It'll be called Torn ACL or something.
Well, do you reckon, just on Joe Cole, do you reckon this album is going to be, it's not that it's going to have, because this album had the political thing behind it, but the standout album for mainstream, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was To Pimp a Butterfly with Kendrick. That's when he blew up to the normal casual listener.
Yeah. J. Cole, I always felt never
Could
had
that-
like that record that
But
made
could
him like
this
that, though.
be it? Not the jazzy music style, but could this off-season be his standout thing where it's like, okay, you expect this from J. Cole, and then he just goes, boom, another way in music.
It could be. I mean, the thing that's interesting, right, is that I would say from listening to the interlude, as much as I like it, it's not surprising. It's still very much J. Cole. It's not out there, out of the comfort zone. But he did make a mention in that documentary that's on YouTube about features and working with other artists, which is interesting because although J. Cole features on people's songs, he's so like.
He was against features for like 2 albums.
But that's what I was gonna say. He doesn't have people featuring on his albums.
No.
He just doesn't do it. It's not his thing. But the fact that he said it as if like this idea that he's talking about, why he's calling it the off season, it's like he has been doing it so much. Like everything, it's like wear and tear, and it's like you're not trying as much anymore. It becomes like mundane.
He became comfortable, and like he can just come downstairs and from his home to his
especially
studio.
whenever you're working in a studio in the house, and it's like you kind of just do whatever. And he's like, this is him getting back in the gym, grinding hard.
And by the way,
trying
this
to
is
come
from a
at
guy
things from a different
that
angle.
rides a bicycle in New York.
Oh,
and
yeah,
wears like
J.
just
Cole is one of those
normal
weird guys
clothes.
that's just like
he's
just
comfortable.
walks around New York and it's just like he doesn't care. He's like middle famous J. Cole, I feel, where it's kind of like he's the fans know who he is, but there's a lot of people who don't know who he is, so
J. Cole's
he
got
can
his
kind of
wisdom.
just go by
He's got his wisdom dreads on.
his
so
dreads.
he's,
Yeah,
He's
His
thinking.
dreads.
Oh,
All
speaking of dreads, the freaking. I know this is a bit somber, but I like celebrating the guy because he was a massive part of my childhood. My parents put him on to shut me up crying. It was the 40th anniversary of Bob Marley's death yesterday.
yesterday.
So I thought that would be
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That guy.
yeah, something
I used
special.
to-
Man.
That's what I grew up on, essentially. That was like my first taste of music.
I'm
Yeah,
actually glad that you said that. I chuckled a bit whenever you said speaking of dreads. I thought you were gonna talk about Bieber.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Crazy freaking hairstyle.
I watched Khaled videos yesterday. His newest ones. It's cringy, but wow. Like that one where he plays golf and stuff. We're gonna golf. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? He wrestles a crocodile. What is going on?
music.
Well, it's not even that. It's I should have said he wrestles a crocodile comes into because Bieber's
haven't
doing like
watched
the,
them all
the Happy
yet.
Gilmore thing,
Yeah,
and it's him against I think Quavo or something. Oh no, 21 Savage is in it,
21 Savage.
and
yes.
he does a putt, and then there's an alligator, and Khaled goes, "I've got you, you're my boy," and he runs and he tackles the alligator, and he grabs him and he rolls, and then he starts punching him and stuff, and then he proceeds to take his top off, and he's like, "We're family, man. We're family, man." I was like, "This is so bad, but it's also unbelievable."
It's also so good. Yeah. Yeah. That's Khaled. That's Khaled all over. So bad, but it's so good. What the hell? Yeah. I think that's all I got for this episode of Six Up, Bro. That's
I got
pretty
some
much it.
things.
Oh, Mike
Mike's
has.
got stuff.
Every time I think we're done, people are like, "Hey, I have things."
Hey, hold up. Hold
Everybody's going in like, "I have no notes." It's like I've been researching while you're talking.
Yeah,
I don't have
researching,
notes, but I have
scrolling
loads of
the
bottles.
internet. No, I just it was something that I was.
I'm just gonna
mildly
plug our merch while you're talking. But there's
okay.
new merch on the shop. You can look at that while we talk about this.
Oh yeah, Music Center are doing this thing. It's like a virtual tour of the Northern Ireland music scene, and they filmed these different live performances in different cities in Northern Ireland. And there's some really really cool ones. I think it only went live like a day or two ago, and I think they're still putting performances up. But there's like Enola Gay's on there, Casual Riot's, Invader Band that we supported at Culture Night.
That's
that
right.
gig
I
that we
remember
were
that
talking about
a long
earlier.
time ago. Yeah.
Wood Burning Savages is on there, Gemma Bradley that we were talking about earlier as well, and our Krypton Son, which I love very much. He's very very cool as well. But like yeah, so there's like all these cool videos on the Oh Yeah Center's music or YouTube page to check out.
So is the other videos, are the bands performing in the videos or the?
Yes, it's
Okay,
it's music, and see, like in general, it's some of the best filmed live performances that I've seen like coming out of this country, as in like
Production.
you know
and
the
stuff?
way I honestly feel like we're stepping up and trying to put ourselves on par with like the rest of the UK music scene. We last year we done like a not televised but like live stream version of the NI Music Prize, and it wasn't without its technical difficulties. But see if you like look at these videos, the lights, the audio, everything, the thumbnails, even for the YouTube videos, 100% professional looking. It all seems really like, I mean, people are stepping up, and I think they're trying to get people to look at the music that's coming out of Northern Ireland, and I only think it could be a good thing.
Yeah.
So there was that I wanted to say. On a personal note, I don't want to bang on or anything.
Do it.
No. It's not really about that. If for anybody that does listen to the podcast, I don't know if anybody that purchased my track does, but I just wanted to say thank you, because the Hopeless track, all the purchases are going to charity. It's a charity called Papyrus that helps people that have to deal with like young suicide, and it equips communities with like skills. They like do outreach and stuff, but I've actually got to £93 on that track, which I've crazily said I'm gonna match. So we're fast approaching £200, which
Unlucky.
is unlucky.
Should have never come.
No, I've already put half of it away, so I think it's gonna come out of two paydays. At the minute I'm still fine, as long as like somebody doesn't blow this up to extreme
Hey,
standards.
let's get it to £1,000. Shall
Here,
we?
Let's get it
guys,
up there.
Honestly, I don't care. See if this is pushed on by the thought that people are like willing to bankrupt me. Whatever, it's for a good cause. So you know what I mean. If that pushes people to do it, whatever. Buy the track, that's fine. But yeah, I just wanted to say, for the most part, in Bandcamp, I can see email addresses and stuff, so I know people that have been purchasing the track and everything, and I want to say thank you to anybody that's done that. It's amazing, and the video is like, I think maybe about 9 plays away from 200 views as well, which is great. 200 views in 2 weeks is way more than I ever thought I would ever get, so that's cool too. Thank you very much. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to say about that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
of course.
You guys are cool.
Yeah, obviously, same goes for me, for everybody that got Boy in the Hood as well. Yeah, it's incredible, the support. That's what I was saying earlier about these, like, things that we want to do, whether it's like, making revenue for us working hard at this, or doing something like that for charity too. Like, sometimes we just need to come up with our own things for that, because I think whenever we're relying on other teams and other people to do it, especially in the music industry, it can be a bit difficult. So we're going to try and, do stuff like that whenever we can. I know we've got our 50th episode of Six Set Bro coming up soon, and we definitely need to plan something special for that. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll do it. We'll do something, and we'll make it fun for everybody. But 3 episodes away, so you let us know what you want to see. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen. But yeah, guys, now you've been incredibly supportive over the last couple of weeks. Definitely Boy in the Hood and Hopeless, and just the usual podcast stuff. And like if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you will have seen some of the new merch that we've just added there as well. Done a refresh to a Redbubble site, which you can get it from there pretty much anywhere in the world. And yeah, we got designs for like everything now that we have on this sort of business, this network, whatever you want to call it.
Small corner of the internet.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was. I said 3 things and I didn't remember the third thing, and I was sitting there with like glazed eyes as you guys were talking. Like I'm like, I know I said 3 things. The last thing, I don't know even if you guys are aware, we're 99 subscribers on the YouTube channel. See if somebody
subscribe now.
Put us onto the 100, because you know what happens if we get 100 subscribers, we can have www.youtube.com/year spaceship, not /Y26E93542.
Imagine how easy it will be to find us. Just one more.
Wasn't that Elon's son's name? No.
Yeah.
Don't speak to me about Elon. He screwed up Dogecoin for me.
But then he brought it back up again when he went, hey, you want tickets to fly to the moon? You can play it with Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. I know.
Here, speaking of Elon, do you know what I thought was actually really funny?
None of SNL.
I haven't seen it, but it
wasn't funny.
It is to do with SNL, and I thought it was really bad, and I felt so bad for her, and it's not nice to see. But do you know how Grimes dates him?
Yeah.
She put up a post on her Instagram recently, and she said she sent something in the post description, like what it was all Grimes sort of stuff or whatever. I have made an appearance, blah blah blah, and all the rest of it. And just want to say, I know it will piss off all the Grimes fans, but I was very proud of E or something like that. And it was like, she even knew that it was going to set people off, and she apologized for it. And there was some people, this is so weird, this is the way the world is. There were some people like, you shouldn't have to do that. You know what I mean? If it's somebody that's important to you, you shouldn't have to apologize that it's going to piss off your fans. And then there was other people like, yeah, you're damn right, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
They know.
What kind of world do we live in?
They know what they're doing. They know.
Yeah. It was interesting to say the least. Like
I knew you were going to bring that up. He was dressed as Wario.
yeah, that was weird. Especially for like I mean, SNL can be cringy sometimes because, it's live, obviously, especially whenever you have people who aren't actors trying to do comedy skits. And it's just so weird. To be fair, Elon wasn't that bad at some of the skits, like for acting wise, but there was some stuff that was so awkward. Like he done the monologue at the start and his mom came on, and it's like his mom had like scripted parts, and it was so weird because it's like this has been written for her, and it was things that she was like, I always remember when you were a boy, and she's like reading it from the teleprompter, and I'm like, well, this is not natural at all. This is really weird and uncomfortable.
It just must be impossible, because I heard him on a podcast say like you would hate to be me because the amount of stuff that goes through my head, this is coming from him, will drive normal person insane. Like he's constantly just thinking this shit.
Says the man in the Wario.
But you know what I mean? It's like
I know. It's just it's the contradiction as you're making that commentary, and he's walking across the courtroom.
Yeah, just as Wario. Yeah, that was.
But again, he's doing that, and then he's launching self-landing spaceships in in a few weeks.
This is my feeling. It's like, why can't the guy still be a normal guy who is like is allowed to be funny or silly at the same time as if he is smart.
Look, I would just
You know
say
what I
it's
mean?
I know we sort of brought it up last time too. I don't follow him I do follow him
To
on
know
Twitter, but I've
enough.
never really followed enough to see. But
That's
it's just
my
the fact
opinion
that
as
he
well.
has said stuff in the past. Look, and as long as you're not overly sensitive to it, it's like I think he's all right, but it's like sometimes he says stuff that maybe comes across extremely ignorant, you know? And it's like even whenever it's maybe not a joke. I mean, that's the best example I had is I know that he did the coronavirus thing where he made it not such a big deal. Now, he's not the only one, but again, it's this whole if he's gonna be one of the smartest people in the world, to be
But- and
like
then-
pretty much telling everyone it's a load of shit, and you're like,
Well,
there's
he
a
was
lot of people
going-
have so much faith in you.
He was going by numbers. And,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a
Yeah,
guy that literally does everything by numbers. It's
Yeah,
like,
well,
what's this
I'm
number?
not. Yeah,
What's the percentage? And it's like,
I'm not blaming him at all either. Like, I mean, I'm just he is what he is. He's an interesting guy to say the least. Put it that way. He is an interesting person. But Dogecoin to the moon. See, let's see if that gets the stock up. Don Maple said Dogecoin to the moon on 6 Pro podcast. Let's buy it up. Bye. Right, I'm about to wrap up the show. Are we sure?
I know,
Does
the
anybody
thing
else
is-
have something to say, or
No.
But no,
No.
I have 5 more things.
Do you know the thing? The thing is, because we haven't seen each other in like as regularly as we do, this podcast could be another 2 hours long.
Yeah, of course it could. Yeah. Maybe that'll be a problem whenever we start seeing each other again.
Yeah,
And we'll
I
get
was
on
gonna
here
say,
and be
just
like,
wait till we get back into everybody's houses. It's like, dude, I just chatted
I
to
just
you like
spoke to you about it.
yesterday,
Yeah, we just seen each other.
and we talked
What's
about
new?
Did we just talk about the same stuff?
Like it worked before, it'll work again. It's fine. But yeah, look, that's all we got this week for 6 Bro. Please do all the good stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That one person, that's all we need. One person, subscribe to that YouTube channel. One person. We need it so badly because we want that name. And you can buy our merch on the Your Spaceship store on Redbubble. We'll send you out links for that. Follow the podcast on Spotify. All that good stuff. Distant Sound Waves later this week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.